To the Between the Pages podcast. Today we're going to be talking about why we don't do magic in our stories.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of the stories, the characters are not real. It's fiction. And so there's a difference between magic and incantations and spells and chants and things of that nature, and then imagination. So, and sometimes it's kind of difficult for kids, especially to determine where one begins and the other doesn't, right? And so it's better for us to just not go there to begin with.
Just stick with pretend. Pretend play is different than basically witchcraft and magic.
Yeah, well, there was a time when, you get a cardboard box and you could have an all-day adventure.
Yep, or multiple days.
And eventually, by the time the end of the day came, you could be using it for a sled. That's after you built a fort and defended it and, whatever, right? And so that type of imaginary play or pretend play, well, in a sense, could be considered magical, but it's not magic. The magic is,
And there's a difference.
Yeah, there's an illusion, usually, and it's making you think that something, sleight of hand or trickery or whatever. Those aren't positive.
Well, pretend play is almost like pretending real, like you have a tea set and you go, oh, I'm pouring tea, but you're not.
Right.
It's pretending, but it's not, oh, I can, turn a pumpkin into a carriage,
and that's what happened in the Bible.
Things that aren't real.
Moses went before Pharaoh, and they cast down their staffs and they became serpents. Well, those were magical tricks. Those were illusions. And so Moses did the same thing, and his staff ate the other snakes, and that proved to the Egyptians they were like, whoa. He has real stuff, because their serpents were illusions. They weren't real. They couldn't do that kind of thing. And about every other plague in there was some type of sorcery or magic or something that, the sorcerers would try. And Moses, God of the Bible, was not having any part of it.
Yeah.
And so, he would overcome each one of their illusions with, something significant. And I guess that's your first reason why you wouldn't want to, put something like that into stories or whatever, because it sends the wrong message. Like, instead of, hard work or prayer or...
Well, and it's almost like, oh, you could be like this. This could happen to you. But like, but you can't.
Well, there is no love potion number 9. There's none of that. That's just something...
So it's almost like a false hope. Whereas things like JG, which I know isn't out yet, but JG... You could do all of those things that he does.
Those are things in the physical world, and he uses physical abilities to dig holes and help people and save people's lives.
Which could be magical to someone, or, like, oh, what a wonderful experience, blessing from him. But it's not actually magical. Anybody can do it.
It's fiction, and it's an imaginary world, but it's not something that's not realistic. I mean, it's potentially, people run in burning buildings every day and rescue people. People dig wells every day, It's not, magic is different in the sense that, there's some kind of incantation or something. And, a lot of times, I mean, I was just reading this week over in Africa somewhere, somebody got sent to prison because they wanted to assassinate a politician using voodoo. And the only reason that works is because there are people there who believe that it works. And so you can convince yourself that, you're going to get sick or you're going to have some kind of voodoo thing or something like that happen to you. And it can happen because you believe it's going to happen. You whether it was anything to do with voodoo or whatever is not true. It's that you subject yourself mentally and physically to things that are not wholesome.
Well, that's what they say too, like to confess, like the positive things, and what you're saying is what your reality will be.
Yeah, well, James, hung by the tongue, basically. If the tongue, you need to kind of learn to control it.
Yeah.
Because people say things they don't mean, but it's too late. It's like feathers out of a pillow. Once they're out.
Like with Eleanor, people would call her feral. Oh, she's feral. And I'm like, she's not feral. She's free-spirited.
Yeah.
She's not wild. She's not an animal. Feral's like negative almost. It's like she's free spirit. She's happy. She's, open.
Yeah, she got a positive attitude.
Yeah.
She wakes up every day in a good mood, happy, as far as I know. So, I mean, it's not like, a feral animal is like, it doesn't want to have anything to do with anyone else, and it's survival.
Wild child of Borneo. Somebody may have called for that as well.
The wild child of Borneo, it's a true story, evidently. And, but that's what people would do. If there was some defect or something with the child, or there was some problem with the child, they just take it out and leave it in the woods. Learn to fend for itself.
We get off topic every single time we do.
Well, but anyway, we don't put magic.
We don't put magic in our stories.
Yeah.
There's a difference between fantasy and witchcraft, and pretend play, and
there are people that actually believe that you can, cast spells on people, and as a Christian, that's just not possible. Now there may be people who are not Christian, who come under demonic influences and things of that nature. Well, I believe that's possible because they don't have the covering. They're not covered by the blood of the Christ that shed for your sin and protects and path. And so, I can see how that would happen. But that's the god of this world, and that's not magic. That's just that's just a spiritual thing that's not wholesome. It's not. There's no magic to that. There's no. It's like because you throw some item off the roof of your house and it drops to the ground. There's nothing magical about that. That's a law of nature. That's what's going to happen. And so it's the same with either you're serving the master of the Bible, Yeshua, Jesus Christ, or you're serving the other master. The dark guy, Satan or Lucifer or whatever, and one of those guys is your master. Period. So, so you get what you choose. So no magic, no magic spells, no incantations, none of that kind of stuff. Pray to God.
Pray to God. Well. We'll see you next time on the Between the Pages podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, and follow for more.